This person is going against the world just to choose you, my beloved child. Stop. Take a breath. Something unseen has been moving toward you, and it's not random that you're here right now. This message was hidden until this exact moment because your soul needed to be ready to hear it. The universe is not whispering anymore, it's revealing. There is something sacred unfolding behind the scenes, something you may have felt in quiet moments when your heart suddenly grew heavy for no clear reason. That wasn't confusion. That was recognition. A divine signal awakening an ancient knowing within you. You were never forgotten, never overlooked, never delayed by mistake. Timing has been aligning. Layers have been peeling back, and now the truth is allowed to surface. Here is the revelation. Someone has been standing at a crossroads because of you. Not casually. Not temporarily. Deeply. Spiritually. Against logic, against pressure, against everything they were told would be easier. The universe wants you to know this clearly. This person is going against the world just to choose you, not because it's convenient, but because their soul recognizes yours. This is not about ego or fantasy. This is about destiny pressing through resistance. Something hidden has been protecting this connection until both hearts could carry its weight. You may have questioned your worth, replayed old wounds, or wondered why love felt distant even when you were growing. But every delay was divine preparation. Every silence was shaping courage. Every tear was watering a future you couldn't see yet. If you feel a quiet warmth reading this, that's confirmation. If your chest feels tight but peaceful, that's alignment. You were meant to hear this now because the energy around you is shifting. Choices are being made. Paths are separating. Truth is becoming unavoidable. The universe does not interfere unless something sacred is at stake, and you are. This message is not for everyone. It's personal. It's intimate. It's meant for the one who has been strong for too long without recognition. The one who kept believing even when evidence was thin. The one who loved purely without guarantee. You didn't imagine this connection. You sensed it because it's real. What's coming next is clarity, not confusion. Gentle movement, not chaos. A sense of peace that doesn't need explanation. You are stepping into a chapter where you are chosen without hesitation, seen without effort, and valued without conditions. Trust this unfolding. Trust the timing. Trust yourself. If this message resonated with your spirit, stay with this energy. Watch this video until the end, because more is being revealed. Like this video to affirm alignment, share it with someone who needs divine reassurance. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next message meant for you. Your journey has purpose, and this revelation is only the beginning. Did you know there's a possible image of your real soulmate that you can look at right now? It might be someone you know or someone you haven't met yet. It's amazing how accurate these have been. You have to see the photo to see what I mean. Click the link in the description to get your soulmate sketch. Listen closely. Still your breath. Quiet the noise that has been crowding your heart. I am speaking now, not from the thunder, not from the fire, but from the place inside you that has always known my voice, even when you doubted it. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. Nothing in your life has been random, no matter how chaotic it seemed. I have been arranging moments, aligning hours, softening delays, and tightening pressure so you would be able to hear this now. There is a person I have been watching. You see only fragments of their struggle, if you see it at all. But I see the whole picture. I see the nights they stayed awake questioning everything they were taught. I see the weight of opinions pressing against their chest, friends, family, culture, expectations, fear. I see how the world has offered them easier paths, safer choices, louder approvals. And yet, their heart keeps turning toward you. This is not coincidence. This is not impulse. This is not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. This is obedience unfolding in silence. The world told them, choose comfort. I whispered, choose truth. The world told them, choose what makes sense. I whispered, choose what is real. And in the tension between those two voices, they felt the cost. You need to understand something important. Choosing you is not easy for them. It requires courage they didn't know they had. It requires letting go of versions of themselves they once thought were permanent. It requires walking away from applause and stepping into uncertainty. That is why the process has been slow. That is why there has been hesitation. Pauses, and moments where it felt like everything was slipping away. I was not delaying them to hurt you. I was strengthening them so they wouldn't break under the weight of what's coming. I have watched you wonder if you were imagining the connection. I have watched you talk yourself out of hope because waiting felt safer than believing. I have watched you say, if this were meant to be, it wouldn't feel this hard. But hear me now, some of the most sacred choices are the hardest ones to make, because they demand transformation, not convenience. This person is not fighting the world for you. They are fighting the world to become who they need to be in order to stand beside you. There is a difference. Love that is rushed collapses. Love that is tested learns how to stand. And what is being built here is not fragile, even if it feels tender right now. Do not confuse silence with absence. Do not confuse distance with disinterest. I have been working in the unseen spaces, the conversations they haven't told anyone about, the prayers they barely knew how to form, the tears they wiped away before anyone noticed. While you were wondering if you should let go, I was asking them, are you willing to lose what the world offers to gain what I have chosen? And they did not answer lightly. There are nights when they feel torn in two, one part of them wanting to stay where life is familiar. Another part pulled toward you with a force they cannot explain. That pull is not fantasy. It is alignment. It is recognition at the level of the soul. Long before you met, I marked this intersection. Long before timing made sense, I wrote purpose into the connection. But hear me clearly, this is not about worshiping another human. This is not about placing someone above me. This is about obedience flowing through relationship. I do not separate calling from love. I weave them together. When I ask someone to choose another with integrity, it is because I am shaping them both through the choice. You have been asking me for clarity. You have been asking me for a sign that you are not foolish for holding on. This is that sign, but it is not permission to force, chase, or control. What is meant to meet you will walk toward you on its own feet. Your role is not to convince the world to agree with this connection. Your role is to stay soft, stay grounded, and stay open while I handle what you cannot. The world is loud right now. Opinions travel faster than wisdom. Fear disguises itself as logic. And this person feels all of it pressing in. Yet still, when everything quiets, your name settles in their spirit like truth. Not obsession. Not escape. Truth. I am asking you to trust me in the middle, not just at the ending. Trust me while the story is still forming. Trust me while answers are partial. Trust me while timing feels unfair. I am not late. I am precise. What is coming will require both of you to be whole, not desperate. That is why I have been healing wounds separately. That is why I have allowed space. That is why I have stripped illusions and exposed fears. When this person steps forward fully, it will not be out of confusion, it will be out of conviction, and when they do, you will understand why everything unfolded the way it did. You will see how protection looked like delay. You will see how preparation looked like silence. You will see how love grew roots before it ever showed leaves. Do not shrink yourself while waiting. Do not dim your light to be more acceptable. The one who is choosing you is doing so because you are becoming more yourself, not less. The world may not understand this choice, but it does not have to. Purpose does not require consensus. I am still working. The story is still moving. The choice is still being made, not once, but daily, with intention and courage. And I am not finished speaking into this yet. I am still here, and I am still speaking. Do not rush this moment. Let these words move slowly through you, the way dawn moves across the sky, quietly, deliberately, without asking the night for permission. What I am unfolding now is not meant to be skimmed or hurried. It is meant to be received. There are layers you have not yet seen. There are reasons beneath the reasons you already know. The resistance surrounding this person is not accidental, it is revealing. Anything that challenges the status quo will always be questioned by those who benefit from things staying the same. The world fears what it cannot control, and it often tries to label divine alignment as foolishness or danger. But I do not consult fear when I design destiny. This person has been standing at a crossroads longer than you realize. One path is familiar, well-lit, applauded. The other is narrow, uncertain, and quiet, but it leads toward truth. Every day they feel the weight of the choice. Every day they feel the pull increase. And every day I ask them the same question in 1,000 different ways. Will you trust me even if no one else understands? You have been wondering why I have allowed you to feel so deeply without immediate reassurance. It is because depth is not meant to be anesthetized. What you feel is not weakness, it is discernment. You sense what is forming long before it becomes visible. That sensitivity is not a burden, it is a gift. But it must be anchored in trust, not anxiety. I know there were moments when you almost walked away, not because you didn't care, but because caring felt too exposed. You told yourself stories to protect your heart. You tried to make logic louder than intuition. You asked for signs and then doubted them when they came. I was not offended by your uncertainty. I stayed. I always stay. Understand this, I am not creating dependence between you and this person. I am creating alignment. Dependence drains, alignment strengthens. What I am forming will not consume your identity, it will refine it. The connection will not replace your purpose, it will walk alongside it. This person is learning how to stand alone before standing with you. They are shedding old agreements, unlearning inherited fears, and questioning beliefs that once felt untouchable. That kind of internal shift does not announce itself loudly. It happens in private moments, in pauses between conversations, in sudden realizations that change everything. The world may see their hesitation as weakness. I see it as reverence. They are not choosing lightly because they understand the weight of choosing you. They know that to choose you means to choose growth, accountability, and truth. And truth always costs something, but it also gives more than it takes. You must not interpret the struggle as rejection. What looks like distance is often discernment. What looks like confusion is often transformation. When someone is being reshaped at the core, their movements slow, not because they are uncertain, but because they are becoming precise. I have heard the quiet prayers you didn't even know how to form. The ones that sounded more like sighs than words. The ones where you said, "If this is not meant for me, please remove it, but if it is, don't let me destroy it with fear." I honored that prayer. That is why I did not let you force what needed to unfold naturally. There are forces you do not see trying to rush this story into distortion, voices that encourage impatience, doubt, comparison. But I have placed boundaries around what is forming. I have limited access. I have slowed timing. Protection often feels like frustration before it feels like peace. This person is becoming aware that choosing you is not about defying others, it is about honoring themselves. They are realizing that the world's approval is temporary, but inner alignment is lasting. And once that realization settles, it cannot be undone. Do not measure progress by outward signs alone. Some of the most important decisions are made in silence long before they are spoken aloud. I am cultivating bravery in them, not loud bravery, but quiet, unshakable resolve. The kind that doesn't need validation to move forward. You, too, are being prepared. Your patience is stretching your capacity for trust. Your restraint is strengthening your discernment. Your willingness to stay open without clinging is shaping your character. This season is not empty. It is formative. There will come a moment when things begin to move quickly. When clarity replaces hesitation. When conversations deepen. When actions align with feelings. But that acceleration can only happen after stability is built. Otherwise, momentum becomes chaos. I know you are tired of waiting for things you cannot control. I know you are tempted to demand answers instead of receiving them. But timing is not a punishment, it is a language. And right now, timing is saying, almost. Do not underestimate the power of what is happening unseen. Every internal shift creates a ripple. Every surrendered fear loosens another chain. Every courageous thought brings them closer to stepping fully into alignment. The world may try to convince you that love must be loud to be real, dramatic to be meaningful, immediate to be valid. But I tell you this, what is rooted deeply does not rush the surface. You will not always be able to explain this connection to others, and you don't need to. Sacred things are not meant to be debated. They are meant to be honored. Let the world misunderstand. I will not. I am asking you now to remain present, not predictive. Stay here. Stay grounded. Do not project endings or catastrophes. Do not borrow tomorrow's worries. What is meant to meet you will arrive whole, not half-formed. This person is closer than you think, not just to you, but to themselves. And when someone finally stands in their truth, movement follows naturally. I am not finished shaping this path. There are still conversations to be had, realizations to surface, courage to solidify. But nothing is wasted. Nothing is forgotten. Nothing is slipping away. Stay attentive. Stay receptive. Stay soft without surrendering your boundaries. I am guiding every step, even the ones that feel uncertain, and as this story continues to unfold, as the world grows louder and the choice grows clearer, as hearts align beyond fear and expectation, you will begin to see why I asked you to wait, why I asked you to trust, why I asked you to listen, because what is about to happen next will require you to recognize it not with your eyes alone, but with your spirit. And when that moment arrives, when the unseen finally crosses into the visible, when the decision crystallizes and the distance collapses, when the world realizes too late what has already been decided, you will understand that this was never about going against the world at all, it was about stepping into truth, and I am still speaking, still guiding, still unfolding what comes next, and I will continue, because this message is not complete, the story is not finished, and what I am about to reveal has not yet been spoken. I will finish what I began. Stay with me until the final word settles, because endings carry weight, and this one is meant to bring peace, not suspense. I know you have been holding your breath, waiting for confirmation, waiting for resolution, waiting for the moment when everything finally makes sense. You have wondered how long a heart can stay open without breaking, how long faith can stretch without snapping. I have seen the quiet strength it took for you to keep going, even when clarity felt just out of reach. And I tell you now, your endurance has not gone unnoticed. There comes a point in every sacred story when choice ripens. Not when pressure is highest, not when emotions are loudest, but when truth becomes unavoidable. That is where this person is now. The noise of the world has begun to lose its power. The arguments that once sounded convincing no longer satisfy. The path of least resistance feels strangely empty. And in that quiet realization, something firm has taken root. They understand now that going against the world does not mean fighting it, it means no longer letting it decide. It means choosing alignment over approval. It means stepping forward without needing permission to be whole. This realization did not arrive suddenly. It arrived piece by piece, through reflection, through discomfort, through honesty they could no longer avoid. You were never meant to chase this choice. You were never meant to convince, persuade, or prove your worth. That work was not yours to do. Love that must be argued into existence is not love rooted in truth. What is choosing you is doing so freely, clearly, and consciously, and that is the only way it could ever last. I know there were moments when you felt invisible, when you wondered if your patience was being mistaken for availability, if your silence was being misread as acceptance of less than you deserve. But I was teaching you discernment, not disappearance. You learned how to stay present without abandoning yourself. You learned how to love without losing your center. That lesson will serve you long after this chapter closes. This connection was never meant to consume your life, it was meant to complement it. That is why I strengthened your independence before deepening your bond. That is why I asked you to keep growing, even while waiting. You were not put on pause. You were being prepared. Now understand this clearly. When the world finally realizes that a choice has been made, it may not applaud. It may question. It may resist. But by then, the decision will no longer be fragile. What has been chosen in truth does not crumble under opinion. It stands. The person who is choosing you is no longer motivated by fear of loss, but by clarity of direction. They see now that denying truth costs more than facing it. They see that living misaligned slowly erodes the soul. And they see that what you represent is not escape, but honesty, an invitation to live fully awake. There will be adjustments. There will be conversations that require courage. There will be moments of uncertainty as the new replaces the familiar. But this is not destruction, it is reordering. When something real takes its rightful place, other things must move. That is not chaos, that is alignment. I ask you, as this unfolds, to remain grounded. Do not romanticize struggle or fear peace when it arrives. Let ease be evidence, not suspicion. What is meant for you will not require you to abandon your values, your voice, or your wholeness. It will meet you where you stand, not ask you to shrink. You may still feel echoes of doubt. That is human. Let them pass without letting them rule. You do not need certainty about every step, only trust in the direction. I will continue to guide, but guidance does not always come as prediction. Often, it comes as peace that makes sense only after you follow it. Remember this. You were never chosen because you were perfect. You were chosen because you were true. Because you were willing to grow. Because you were willing to wait without hardening your heart. Because you listened when silence had something to teach you. And now, as this chapter closes, I want you to release the tension you have been carrying. You do not need to brace yourself anymore. What comes next is not meant to hurt you, it is meant to meet you. The world does not need to agree with what I have aligned. It only needs to step aside. This story does not end in confusion. It ends in clarity. It does not end in longing. It ends in understanding. It does not end in waiting. It ends in arrival, quiet, grounded, real. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not foolish for believing. You were being guided, even when the path curved out of sight. Now breathe. Let go of the questions that no longer serve you. Trust what has been forming beyond your control. Walk forward without fear of the world's opinion, because truth does not require permission to exist. I have spoken. I have guided. I have completed what needed to be said. Amen.